Welcome in everybody. My name is Mitch and welcome back to another video on Jamie Brown's YouTube channel. I'm back tonight riding solo. I'm by myself. I have no friends. Maddie's not here. I don't know where that bloke is. I haven't heard from him in like months. He's on the Gold Coast sipping mimosas. Don't even think he's watched a game of football in the last like 3 weeks. I haven't heard from him. I hope he's doing well. Jamie's not here tonight. He's giving me back the reins to kind of do whatever I want to do. Talk some absolute rubbish. And let's be honest, it's round 24. I've only got about another month of doing these videos, and then it's a hiatus for the next 6 months. So the chances that you actually get anything fantasy relevant out of this is pretty slim to none. No one's got any trades left. I've got two heading into this week. I have to make one because Britton Nickera is an absolute idiot. I can say that word on YouTube, and I can't swear like I was on the weekend. But welcome in everybody. Hope you enjoy the next, let's say, 20 to 30 minutes of absolute nonsense because I've got nothing more to give. My team is in shambles. It's shambolic. It's absolutely rubbish. But on a serious note, I would like to thank everybody for still watching. If you clicked on this video when it first comes out, or 12 hours later, or whenever the Jamie wants to upload it, that's on him. He's a bit slack these days, but I appreciate everybody still watching. I know the fatigue of fantasy can get a lot towards the back end of the season. Not for me, because I'm a degenerate who I live and breathe this stuff. You wouldn't be able to tell by my overall rank, but no, I love this stuff. It's I always do go into. I don't want to use the word depressive or depressive. That's not even a word. Like a depressed state. When fantasy finishes, because yeah. I don't have much to do when this stuff isn't around. So I'm gonna miss it. But it's going to be a pretty fun next month, I'd say. We got 24, 25, 26, 27. 4 more rounds to go. And it's sad to see. It's going to suck, but it is what it is. Time to use those trades. We'll trade because I'm only going to have one left after this week. And I finished around 23 with a score of 895. Absolute rubbish. I think I still scored more than Jamie though, so I will take that. Even with a Siwa Wong HIA 7 pointer, which I will get into because that was absolute killer. Yeah, I scored 895. I was been copping it from the group chat. I've been copping it from everybody recently. They're lucky I can take a joke because I've been getting hammered in the group chats. Like seriously, like I don't even think these guys know I have feelings or even care that I have feelings. But yeah, 895. I lost about 300 ranks. It's tough. But at this point, like it is what it is. It's a bit of a laugh. I'm more enjoying the banter side of the group chats and fantasy than the actual me improving because let's be honest, I haven't improved since about round 25 last year. So yeah, pretty keen for next year. When can I start planning? And let's just start off with the top. Obviously, we had Teddy with a 96, pretty much scored a ton, but it's kind of irrelevant when everybody's got Tedesco. So let's go on the low ownership guys, because that's just so awesome, my low ownership guys. And we start from the top, Connor Watson. I decided, you know what, Aaron Clark's been my hooker the whole year. I'm bored of looking at him in the hooker spot. Let me put Connor Watson there. And he scored 28 points because he played 55 minutes on the off the bench. So that's great. Thanks, Watson. I'm really glad I brought him back. He's a dud. We go down Fogarty, who's a pretty, relatively low ownership's fallen off the cliff the last 2 weeks. I don't have any trades to trade him out, and I don't think you should, but he's an absolute dud. And then we go to my bench. We're gonna ignore Angus Crichton because I have a new rule, and it's something that I'm gonna remind myself heading into next year and just for all these weeks coming up. If my player scores above 40 and doesn't get knocked out, I will happily take that. Because, yeah, what are we doing? What's Adam doing? So let's start off with DCE because it's not as bad as it looks. 29, it's pretty dull. I'm like the only bloke who owns him. I think Mark Jessup still owns him too. So me and him are in the depths of hell together. And he's a numpty. He's so rubbish. I don't know how this bloke is scoring 29s. He wasn't even kicking on the weekend. He was just making tackles. And at that point, like I thought, I didn't check the scores at half. A full time, I was like, the group chats were all like, oh God, like this is such a low fantasy scoring game. And I'm like thinking, okay, Taps, Tarpane is pretty low. Hopefully, Hosking these guys. And I look at DCE. In my head, I was like, please, I'll take a 40, and the bloke couldn't even give me a 30. Like, what is doing? But that's fine. Britt Nickera, I actually have a funny story to tell, and I'll tell that first before I pour one out for Siwa Wong, my bring in of the week. Britt Nickera, so he was actually having a insane game, to be honest. I was loving it. I was like 3 o'clock. No one really has any Sharks players. No one's got any Dragons players. I know that for sure. And I was like, okay, Britt Nikora, please. He's only scored one try since I've owned him since round 10. I bought an attacking back rower who runs the best lines in the comp in round 10, and the bloke has scored one try. That's just so great. What's going on? Anyway, I'm watching him like a hawk. I am so dialed in on him. And I'm watching this bloke make so many tackles, and I'm like, hang on, like he's killing it. Like I only saw him miss one tackle as well, and he had two rubbish offloads, and I'm like, hang on, like we're in for a good score here. He should have scored a try, like two or three times if they just passed him the ball. The Sharks, yeah, dire straight. They get knocked out first week of finals. If they scrape into the top four, then they're going back to back L's, like they're done. Don't care about the Sharks. Just give your back rower the ball, like your strike back rower anyway. So I knew he was killing it. I knew he was on a good score. Once he got that second rubbish offload, I thought we were on here. And then let me stop for a second. My beautiful girlfriend came over. She came over. She said, I'm gonna come in really quick." I'm like, "Sweet." I was hoping the first game of footy ended by the time she got in. Not because I don't love her with my entire heart, just so I could, like I'm a bit of a nutcase when the footy's on, right? It's a bad side of me. Anyway, the game had like 8 minutes left, so I paused it. I pressed play. I pressed not play. I pressed pause on KO. I said hi to her, hello, gave her a hug, gave her a kiss, and I sat back down and I pressed play. I was like, I'm gonna finish watching this really quick. She's like, yeah, yeah. I pressed play. There was like 7 minutes of the game left, and she starts telling me about how her friend's getting engaged, and I'm thinking, okay, like super fun, but I'm like 90% locked in on Britt Nikora because I'm like, we're on here. And I haven't, the game was probably over at this point. I haven't checked my phone. I hadn't checked the group chats. I didn't check the score. I was like, I'll just finish watching this. Had 6 minutes left. And then I see this bloke while my poor girlfriend, I feel so bad, love her to death. She's telling me about how her friend is getting engaged. And I'm like, okay, Britt Nikora, what's going on? What's going on? And I see him run out of the line with 2 minutes to go and just shoulder charge someone to the head. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, what are you doing? And the ref pulls him out and sends him for 10 minutes. And I've got to sit here and I swore. And my girlfriend's like, what happened? I said, don't worry, babe. Tell me about how your best friend's getting engaged. I really want to listen to that. And then I'll have to sit here and deal with Britt Nikora, got suspended. He's gone for the season. Now I've got to trade him out. My girlfriend's really angry. Well, she's not really angry. My girlfriend's sitting here telling me how her friend's getting engaged and why isn't she getting engaged? And I've just lost Britt Nikora, so that's just great. We're all three of us. We're all done. Then I open up my phone to see, oh great, everyone, Mitch, 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 Mitch. Oh my God, poor Mitch, poor Mitch. And that was before Siwa Wong got knocked out. Look, I don't know how far into the video we are. You've got no fantasy chat, and that's the best bit about it. You get nothing good, nothing of quality here. Uh, let's get to the next game. Connor Watson's been benched. Whatever, don't care. Tedesco, everyone's got don't care. Angus Crichton, whatever. Who cares? Who cares at this point? Siwa Wong, I was so excited to watch him. I spooked him all week. There was so many people in the chats. I think even Nigel, who's coming like 15th, jumped on him, and he's been giving it to me as well. Mate, we both have Siwa Wong. Don't just get into me. And he was before he knocked on, he would have been on what, 9 points in like 10 minutes. So good. I was loving it. I was like, this is great. This is what I bought him for. And then the bloke thinks he's a front rower and runs at Kurt Donahue and gets folded. Not like a cat, oh my God, he's gonna come back. Like he gets knocked out. Like like Conor McGregor spin kick to the head, knocked out. What are we doing, Siwa Wong? You're not a front rower. So then I have to deal with that. That's just great. Siwa Wong's dead. Everyone's dead. My fantasy team's rubbish. And that is equates to an 895 and 300 point rank loss. But hey, at least I didn't buy Jackson Ford. So, I'm sure you've seen someone's video last night, whenever he's posted it, about how he bought Jackson Ford. So that was my tough week. It was yeah, it was that CY Wong one was, you can't help that. It was really frustrating on a serious level because a few weeks ago I copped the Brit Nickera HIA. And when yeah, it's pretty frustrating. I went through my team this year and I've copped, I think that's the third that I've copped. I copped CY Wong, Brit Nickera, and then I copped Fisher Harris back in like round 5 who tore his pec. And there's a three relatively low ownership guys. And I went through my team last year because I have all the notes and screenshots and my kind of season review of the year I did last year when I finished 21st. And I really only copped Ewan Aitken in like around 20 or something when he tore his pec, but he was really high owned. With high ownership, so it wasn't as bad. But when I've got three pods who've gone down, pretty much given me a nothing score, zero for the week. Yeah, it hurts, and it probably yeah, it doesn't help that my team's just so bad. But we live and we learn. That's the kind of the big goal for heading into next year, which I probably will touch on a few times before the end of the year, or especially in today's little video. Because, like I said, guys, we're 24 rounds in. If you're still watching to this point, I salute you because there is, like I said, nothing good coming out of this video. But depending on how when my season ends in a few weeks, in about a month's time, I'm going to have a really, really in-depth review of my season of everything, every single thing I can do to the notes that I made in the preseason, the notes I made during. I'm probably going to watch some of my videos back and just really analyze everything that I did to lead up to round 27, what my final team is, all that good stuff. And I'm not sure what that's going to look like. It's going to be very detailed. It's going to take me a long time to go through every little thing. I'm probably going to do like a review of some sorts for the channel, I'm assuming, talk to Jamie and all that good stuff and see where we end up about that. But I know I'm going to have a very, very intricate one for myself, especially a written piece or whatever that looks like. I'm planning it really, really suddenly of how I got into this position and how and what I can do to finish 20th again next year. Because I'll tell you what, it's a lot more fun playing fantasy when you can click the rankings and your team is right there. It's not fun when you can't do that because yeah, that's not great. So yeah, enough of that. Heading into round 24, like I said, I have to use a trade. Britton Nickera is dead. He is suspended for 3 to 4 weeks with the bye. Pretty much doesn't play again until the finals. So, yeah, I've got to trade him, and I'm broke. I have 29K in the bank before that trade, and so I can't really do a lot. I can get to 551K, and I was watching the Hopgood really, really closely yesterday. Um, just to see, I didn't expect him to go nuclear. He went at a PPM like this is the bloke who I thought I started with, 62 and 65 minutes, just absolutely insane. Didn't have any offloads at all. He was just a freak. So I was watching him really closely to see if I could afford that. And when he was at 65 overnight, I was a bit like, hopefully my maths is correct because I was looking and yeah, the 550 price pool is not very appealing, appetizing, whatever the word is. It's not good. So I'll actually probably go through these in a few of these guys soon, but yeah, Hopgood I'll probably be bringing in. I actually started with him. Let's go back to my round one team. Oh my goodness, look at this. So I actually had a really good start to not get too far off stretch, but I started with Hopgood at 743K from memory, 740K. It was 100K cheaper than Haas. I do remember that, and I kind of went with Hopgood just because I thought he was going to be, I think in the preseason I actually said like he's one of the only guys that can actually average 60. It does get thrown around a lot out there that guys can average this and he should do this, blah blah blah. But I believed Hopgood was one of the certain few who actually could tickle 60 and average that. And yeah, he's really helped me out by averaging 45, so that's just great. Look at started with Ponga as well. Yeah, I will go really in depth into my round one team and the trades that I made, but it's not really that bad. I think I was pretty keen on Ruben Garrick. Like Ruben Garrick was in my preseason thoughts quite a lot, but I probably should have just found the extra 100K to go to Dylan Lucas or found the extra 100K to go from Hopgood to Haas. Fisher Harris, I was a really big Fish guy in the preseason. If you guys can remember that, I was, yeah, really big on Fish and was really working quite well until he tore his pec. So, yeah, I was actually in Japan when he did that in a ride at Disneyland. And one of the guys literally said, like, oh, Fish is gone, he's off the field. So I then had to put my phone away and go on a ride at Disneyland. So I'm sure that you can imagine how fun that was, believe it or not. So I will be bringing in Hopgood. Like I said, this is a bit of a cesspool. I jumped on Wong last week and he lost about 70k, so that's just so awesome. Hopefully I don't break Hopgood. I think he will be pretty popular this week. I'm assuming there wasn't a lot of injuries or suspensions and all that sort of stuff last week. If you're in a similar boat to me with like a Nakora or something like that, and you're looking for a budget option in the mid 500s, I think Hopgood's going to be a really good shout. Um, like even Matt Burton, these kind of guys, you just kind of want to take a swing on with some upside, So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Even like Sean Blaw just lost like 50k because he scored a random 19 in 50 minutes. So he's another option that I kind of like, but I just think Hopgood's like, I just like it just for the vibes, bit of a vibe pick. I started with the bloke, so I might as well finish with the bloke. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Like I said, guys, there's not a whole lot of fantasy actual substance to go through. It's that time of the year. I still love it no matter what. I still listen to all the content, and I'm a bit of a diehard. Probably a hot topic I should kind of go into, no with very much detail or anything, but I will be going back to Captain May. I think he's going to be a bit of a pod as well. Like I think, yeah, Penrith play Melbourne this week too. So I think that may scare people off the captain Cleary. It might not. But I'm just going to go back to May. I think he's had a rest now. He's had a bye. I think, he's played his last two or three games in the rain, just like pretty much all these guys have. So hopefully that can slow down. And I think you can't go wrong with Haas, May, or Cleary. I don't think I need to like rank them or anything because it's not really, who knows? I'm always wrong anyway, it seems the last, 23 rounds. So I like all three. I think they're your safe three. I probably wouldn't go too far away from that. Obviously, last round, a lot of people jumped on, well, not a lot of people, but Jaden Campbell was a really popular option, and people kind of, you know, didn't go Cleary to kind of chase the upside. And to be fair, they had a really good idea because Jaden Campbell bombed the try. Like he should have just put the ball down. I don't know what he was thinking. So that 58 could have easily been a mid 70s. But you would have looked like a genius. So you'll cop a 58. I'm gonna just leave it on May. I think they're all three great options. I probably could be convinced to go Payne Haas as a Broncos guy. But I've already got the two big boys there, so I think I'll leave it on May. But I think that may honestly be where I leave it. Short and sweet this week. It sucks that we're at this, like I said a few times. I could talk about it all day. It does suck that we're getting to that end now where a lot of people are out of trades. I'm down to one now. I think a lot of people I think like 200 people already had zero, and then another 200 people had one in the top 1,000. So luckily those guys didn't really cop any injuries last week. I just had the pod on in Nakora go down like an absolute idiot, by the way. Not go down because he had an injury, go down because he's an absolute nutcase. But I think that's where we'll leave it. Like I said, I will be, I know Jamie's looking into what he can do and what his thoughts are heading into next year for the channel in regards to what he's doing. He's the boss. He picks what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. But I think I'm probably also going to have more of a probably opportunity, I'd say, to keep doing my thing in regards to this video and some other ideas that me and Jamie are more so him, obviously, are cooking up in the background heading into the preseason for fantasy 2026. Jesus, 2026, that's crazy. And more of a, kind of outline on what I'm going to be doing for the channel next year. So, if, like I said earlier, if that review or like a really in-depth kind of thing on how I'm thinking, whether or not it's like something where I just do what I would normally do and record it, instead of just sitting on this page, I actually go through all these pages. Um, there you go. Look, I was looking at Hopgood prop. See, look, I don't think I've ever shown this page once while I've done this video. I think normally I have a just leave it on this page, but I actually have yeah, I do lots of notes. I do lots of notes. See, let me bring this over. I'm not sure if you could actually see. We'll see. Round 24 thoughts, but I go through each round. I do a lot of tinkering and a lot of thinking. So I kind of give my thoughts and notes on games and all this sort of stuff. So I put in a lot of detail. So I'm not gonna go into anything, but I kind of just give myself a lot of notes for every single round. So, yeah, I do all that sort of stuff, but I never show that because, like I said, that's a whole nother side to me. It's something that I've been tinkering with and doing for a little while now. But you guys don't really get that side of me, the analytical analysis. These are just absolute rubbish thoughts that I do to keep myself busy because I love the game, right? I love fantasy. I love all that good stuff. So. Let me know if a really thorough or in-depth review sounds good to you guys. I know Jamie will probably do his. Maybe he'll review a bunch of other people. I'm not too sure. I barely speak to the bloke. Good bloke though. Why did he bring in Jackson Ford? I'm sure he'll tell us that soon. But I think that's where I'll leave it. I had fun I had fun. I always have fun jumping on, even if the fantasy is pretty dire and I appreciate you guys staying to the end. If you did, let me know. If you still do have some trades left, let me know what you're cooking up in the comment section. Again, just don't buy anybody that I buy because it's not going to be worth it. They're just going to die and they're going to fall off a cliff and get knocked out again. So I'll see you guys next week. Maybe I can get in contact with Matty T. I should actually reach out to the bloke. Hopefully, he's still alive and doing well. But I'll see you guys next week. Okay? Thanks, guys.